While it certainly has been reminiscent of our end of July heat wave, it's actually about two different forms that we're talking about. Take a look at our 10-day temperatures right here. And you'll notice, you gotta remember when we started August, coming off that, like Mother Nature turned that calendar, she's like, I'm gonna drop you down to the mid 80s. But here we roll once again. And it's beautiful, beautiful mornings that we've been having. It's just real hot afternoons. As right now, we're already seeing temperatures as high as 91 in Joplin and Carthage and Sedan. Everybody else easily up into the high 80s. Just a few places that are holding on to the mid 80s. So you say, okay, so this is just like the end of July. Yes. When we step outside, yes, that's exactly what it feels like. It is the end of July. I just want to point out a few factors in play here as far as why it's two different heat waves. Now, the end of July heat wave, that averaged a daily high of 94.6. I went ahead and forecasted out to the weekend. Let's just say we keep this one going, 93.5, 1 degree difference, not a big deal. Here's the thing. That wave we had in July, remember how still it was? How you were thinking, oh, a little breeze would be so helpful right now. Well, the wind was only 5.5 miles per hour daily. Our humidity sat at 72.5%. But this week, it's the wind playing a large factor. It's going to come in at 13 miles per hour on average, gusts up to 25 miles per hour. But at the same point in time, our humidity drops to 68. And so that's why whenever we talk about the heat index, or AKA what it feels like, you have to factor in both of those. Look at that south wind coming in right now. Remember, July, 5.5 miles per hour. Now we're seeing anywhere from 13 to 17 miles per hour. That's sustained. Those are not gusts. That's sustained on the wind tracker. And so what that will do is bump us up into the high 90s as far as what it feels like. Joplin was at 101 last time we checked in on 7th and Rangeline. And at the same point in time, we should be like, oh, isn't this the dry heat? No, we can thank the old wind for that. There is a live look over 7th and Rangeline, and while we've been off to a beautiful start, I tell you what, we actually do have a mess on our hands up to the north. It doesn't affect any of our highlighted counties, but this storm system that rolled up through I-70 through Kansas City, then took a northeasterly route. Right now, trying to make its way through Columbia, this thing has been dropping hail and also to a multitude of lightning. As a matter of fact, earlier this morning, they had an inch diameter hail along I-70. And if you have evening plans, I said it this morning, if you got to make the morning commute, well, if you got evening plans, look at this thing just rolling across the interstate. So you're probably going to have to run into it. Back to the 4 states to talk about our heat as we are locked into the heat advisory. We did lift the excessive heat warning for northeast Oklahoma, so at least that's one positive number. And speaking of heat, let's check in on what it feels like in Joplin. Oh, it's an even 100 now. Makes you feel better about that old 101 that we had when we started the show. As the heat advisories have now pushed east of the Mississippi and really have been expansive in nature. And also, too, the severe thunderstorm risk warning with what we were talking about up to our north. Watch how this thing is going to keep moving toward the Great Lakes. And when it does, we're talking about an interesting night up there as they even hit the elevated area. Our day planner, the wind still being the key factor. It's not going to give up even as we transition into tonight. It'll still be there at 10 to 15 miles per hour. As far as rain, it's going to be up in the north. We talked about that I-70 line. Okay, if we see any coming off of I-70, it'll be those far northern counties. Not a whole lot wanting to dip into the central north southern portions, clearing off overnight, and then we're right back at it again tomorrow, Tanya. In fact, maybe even a degree or two warmer. At this point in time, does that matter? No. Nah. It's like, it's always what I've said. When you're talking about 95 or 96, what's the difference between it feeling like it's in between 105 and 107?
No kidding. It's going to be definitely hot. Either way.
Tomorrow morning, you and I will find that silver lining and we'll start talking about the countdown of getting out of the hot weather.
Yes.
See, there's something to look forward to.
I'm looking forward to that. And if you could just be nice and take those 90s on Saturday and Sunday and put them back to 89.
It's funny you asked that. Developing everything for tomorrow morning and getting ready for that. I think I am going to back off those. I want to see what happens this evening. But with the way this front is moving, very likely to have a pair of 88s up there.
Oh, that would be great. It's still going to feel like it's in the 90s.
Thank you for reminding me of that.
All right, we'll look forward to that. Something to look forward to for tomorrow.
There you go.
All right, thanks, Michael.